Okay. Everybody can hear me, I guess. Okay. So welcome. Thank you. Thank you for coming and for joining this wonderful program. COVID has turned all of our lives upside down, including what's going on at the library. We've tried very hard to move as much as we can into the virtual realms and to keep going and to make the library relevant to people in town. And part of that is having most of our programs on Zoom. We have some morning, daytime stories with children, which is wonderful, and some afternoon activities, and a book group that's going to try and meet in November and December outside, bundled up. But otherwise, everything's being done by Zoom. And we are drawing on local residents, and Claudia is one of the very generous ones who has given of her time and her expertise to run this program. Our programs can all be found on our webpage. There are registration links for all of them, and that's the deal with Zoom, is you have to register to get a link to tune in. And if you have problems with the technology, let us know. We'll see what we can do to help you. We're drawing on a former local resident, Jody Smith, next week, who's going to do a program on Southern Africa and traveling there. We're going the following week to do a program with the Zuckermans in coordination with a couple of the libraries on wonderful, influential women of New York City. And we're going to do a book group. And then later on in October, on the 19th, we have a Professor David Silverman, who's going to come and talk about the Wampanoag, I believe that's how you pronounce it, Indians, with his book, This Land is Their Land. And coordinating with that, Robert Treadway, another local resident who's wonderfully artistic, has a collection of plates, commemorative plates that date back to the 19th century from the founding of the Plymouth and the Jamestown colonies. So he's going to display those. So we invite you to join in to all of these. And thank you, Claudia. We're very fortunate to have Claudia this evening. She is the CEO of Loro Piana and out of Milan, and she's a local resident, and she's volunteered her time to do a second program on meditation. So, Claudia, thank you.
Thank you so much, Carolyn, and thank you to Susie and to Kathleen for enabling this and helping me to connect to all of you. It's beautiful to be together, and I think these opportunities are really precious, especially in this time. So what I would like to do today, I think for some of you, this is your second session. We've done one before, I think, as Carolyn mentioned, and this is number 2. I will show a very short presentation to share with you a little bit about what meditation is not. And I'll share with you some of the research that is being done on meditation. Last session, we talked about meditation's ability to improve brain mass. Today, we'll talk about neuroplasticity, just very briefly. I think it's always good to know what you're doing and why you're doing it and the impacts it may be having. I have been practicing meditation for more years than I care to remember, but very actively in the last decade of my life. And today it is a part of my everyday life. I meditate in the morning when I wake up, and I meditate in the evening as well. I find that it opens and closes my day really in a helpful way. So let me take you through, I'm going to project a presentation, and if you don't see it, you'll let me know, but I think you should be able to. Great, can you see that? Okay, good, I see thumbs up. All right, so what is meditation and what is mindfulness? Meditation is an ancient wellness practice. The earliest records date back to 1500 BC in the Vedic and the Hindu traditions of India It moved later to Chinese Taoism and Indian Buddhism in the 4th and 6th centuries. So this little phrase comes out of Headspace, and Headspace is a wonderful app. If you find that meditation is helpful to you and you want guided meditation, Headspace is a great app to download. I highly recommend it. And I just love the way that they talk about meditation. They say meditation is not about becoming a different person, a new person, or even a better person. You're not trying to turn off your thoughts or your feelings. You're learning to observe them without judgment. And eventually, you may start to better understand them as well. Meditation is really a state of relaxation, and it's very unique because it's a relaxation that allows you both to be completely at rest and completely alert at the same time. Now, mindfulness is the ability to be present, to simply rest in the here and now, fully engaged in whatever it is you're doing. You could be washing the dishes. Mindfulness involves engaging the observer instead of the thinking brain. So we will engage the observer as we meditate this evening, and you've been in touch with your own observer all of your life, but there is a distinction between the thinking brain and the observer in your mind, and it's very useful to notice that. And particularly in meditation, it's a big aid. So this is a graphic that shows you the synchronization that happens in the brain when we meditate. So what you see on the left side of the diagram with the blue, you see the blue in the front, so the front lobe of the brain, and in the back of the brain. And this blue area is your theta brain waves. So this is what this graphic is showing you is that what happens over time in meditation is they're showing you a meditated brain after 25 minutes. Now, this is not a scientific diagram. This is just an infogram, and it is meant to portray a reality. I just want to be clear about that. This is not a scientific image per se, but what they find in meditation after about 25 minutes is that they notice a harmonization, a balancing happening between the right and the left hemispheres of the brain, allowing the brain to work more in sync and making the communication of thoughts, information, and responses more integrated. I think it's useful to understand brain waves because certainly as you meditate and as you live your life, your brain moves through different brain waves. Last week, I showed the same graphic, but we did not talk about gamma. This week, I'll talk about gamma because it's a very interesting brain frequency and amplitude. So brain waves, this graph shows electrical activity that the cycles that the brain goes through. And this is depicted by frequency. So frequency is the number of wave cycles or peaks in a set of period of time. And those are the hertz that are denoted underneath the name. So you see gamma, it runs between 32 and 100 hertz. And the amplitude is not the cycles, but is instead the strength of the brainwave. So when you go down to delta, you might see that that line is thicker. That brain wave is stronger in its amplitude, even though the frequency is much lower. So let's start at the top. Gamma is a very interesting brain wave cycle. It is the fastest of the brain waves. And interestingly, unlike the other brain waves, that either they're fast or they're strong, but they're not both. Gamma is both very fast and very powerful. So if it was an instrument, it would be like a bass. It's a powerful, fast signal. And gamma is accessed only in a very, very quiet state. It's a very rare state to access. It can be frightening. I've experienced it. It can be frightening because it is so unexpected and so unusual. But it is the state of very, very deep meditation. It goes way beyond relaxation. It really is a meditated state. Then there's beta. So the frequency of beta is the next step down between 13 and 32 hertz. And beta is the cycle that we most live in. Beta it really dominates our waking state. It is our thinking mind. It is our active mind. It involves all of our fast activity. We're in beta when we're toggling between things, toggling between tasks. You're doing something, a phone call comes in. Maybe you're making a presentation and somebody raises their hands. You have a question to answer. You're in beta. And we spend a lot of time in beta. It is our problem solving, judgment, decision making, focused mental activity place. The next step down from beta is alpha. You see that you take a step down here in hertz. So you slow down a bit, the signal gets a bit stronger in its amplitude. And here it is a bit more resting state of the brain. It is more calm, you are alert. There's a mind-body integration happening. You can hit alpha, maybe walking in our open lands. You're spending time in alpha, much more than you are in beta, and you're not yet in theta. So this is a much more calm state. It doesn't mean you're not doing, but you are much more serene. You're not problem solving. The next state is theta. Theta, now you're down to between 4 and 8 hertz. Theta is really the state between sleep and wakefulness. It is a very creative state. It is the state of the meditative mind. And finally, you arrive at delta. And delta, I think we're all aware of, is the state of deep, dreamless sleep. It is a restorative state, absolutely necessary for the body to heal and for the mind to rest. So neuroplasticity is something that scientists have just understood actually happens in the human brain. It is a rather new development in the study of the human brain. And what is neuroplasticity? It is the brain's ability to change in response to experience. So it has been recently discovered, as it says here, that the nature of the brain is in fact neuroplastic, which means that our potential is not set at birth. We can actually strengthen and improve our brain at any stage of our life in ways that we never understood before. Dr. Rebecca Gladding, author of You Are Not Your Brain, recently wrote, "The brain and how we are able to mold it is fascinating and nothing short of amazing." And research is beginning to show that meditation over time, meaning long, not extended moments of meditation, but a continuous habit of meditation, can be a powerful brain changer, and it will touch 9 brain centers. There are very large implications for neural health if we remember that the brain actually, it contains much more than just the brain as we think of it. It actually contains our entire nervous system, the neural pathways throughout our body, and even our organs. And it aids in the release of beneficial chemicals like serotonin and a host of endorphins. And continuing along the theme of neuroplasticity, in 2012, the UCLA School of Medicine found that the corpus callosum, which is essentially they describe it here as the grand central station-like cable of nerves that cross-link the brain hemispheres, the right and the left, was remarkably stronger, thicker, and more well-connected in meditation practitioners. So what does this neuroplastic brain discovery mean? It means that by constructing a connected and ultra-efficient bridge between our two brain halves, we start to integrate the brain after a lifetime of separation, and harmonizing these two hemispheres opens the door to many benefits. They cite better focus, deeper thought, creativity, mental health, enhanced memory, and clearer thinking. Just the start. So I hope that that's helpful, just to give some context to what we're doing. And so let's dive in. I would like to remind you that there's really no perfect meditation. It's why they call it a practice, and I've been practicing most of my life. So we'll practice together tonight. I encourage you to close your eyes. 60% of our brain activity is connected to our eyesight and what our brain does with what we see. When we close our eyes, we automatically rest the brain. So I encourage you to close your eyes, and I'm going to start us off by striking a rin, and it is how we'll close tonight as well. Good. So let's settle, take your seat, take a moment to find your center. And start in your body. Turn your attention to your sitting posture. Maybe you're sitting in a chair, or maybe you're sitting on the floor on a cushion. You want your back to be upright and straight, allowing for the movement of energy, but not stiff. Just imagine that you have a string at the top of your head connecting you to a ceiling, the ceiling in your room, perhaps. Sit comfortably erect, whatever that looks and feels like for you. Try to keep your back straight and your chin parallel to the floor, which will ensure that the back of your neck is straight. So you may want to drop your chin just a little bit so that the base of your chin is flat to the floor. Your shoulder blades tucked onto your back and not rolled forward if you can, but whatever feels comfortable. And place your hands on your thighs, palms down. Feel your feet. Feel the sensations in the soles of your feet. Can you feel your feet touching the ground, touching the inside of your slippers or your shoes? Can you feel the electrical impulses that actually exist at the base of your feet? Very good. Can you relax just 5 or 10% more? Release just 5% more tension in your body that you may be holding. So let yourself just rest here for a moment as you feel your body. You will notice different thoughts and feelings and maybe sounds that arise in your environment, including my words. But let the sounds and the thoughts arise and let them pass, just like waves in the ocean. They will come and they will go. Let your mind and your heart be soft. Let it be open and at peace. Be present with the thoughts that are arising in each moment. In the midst of the thoughts, the sounds, and your feelings that may come and go, turn your attention to your breath. Let the breath have its natural pace, its natural rhythm. Don't force anything. Can you feel the air against the inside of your nostrils as you inhale, as you exhale? Can you feel the coolness of the air as it enters your body? And is it slightly warmer when you breathe out through your nose? Maybe where you feel your breath is in your chest, and you can feel the rising and the softening of your chest. With each inhale and each exhale. Focusing on the breath is the beginning. It's the starting point to connecting the mind with the body, with the heart. Your thoughts may be sticky. They may be asking for your attention. Maybe a task is popping into your mind. Set it aside. It'll be there when you're done. Let it pass by you. And stay in your experience. The simple experience of your breath and the sensations in your body. If your thoughts are very insistent, turn to your body. How is your body feeling? Notice your hands on top of your thighs. Notice the sensation of your feet, perhaps. If a part of your body is in pain, breathe into that pain. Soothe it. And return to the breath. Very good. Very good. Before we close, can you come back to the breath and stay loyal to the breath for the last minute? And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. So that was a very short meditation, just a little appetizer. Now you may want to stay silent, and that's great. But you may want to ask a question or share something, and I encourage you to do that through the chat function. So if you want to type something in, tell us how your experience was. Did you experience something different? Do you have a question to ask? Please feel free, and I'll respond to whatever you put in. I'll give a few minutes for you to do that, a few moments. Okay, all right. Well, I'm going to read something for you from Jon Kabat-Zinn. So Jon let me pause for a minute. How long can meditation last? Is that your question, Mary Ellen? Yes. How long can meditation last? Well, meditation can last quite long, and it's entirely up to you how long you'd like to sit. When I first started, 10 minutes was really enough. And 20 minutes is a very good amount of time. If you can dedicate 20 minutes a day to just sitting in the present moment as we did, sitting, focusing on the breath as we did, that's incredibly beneficial. You may decide that you, over time, want more time, and that's wonderful as well. So there are no rules. Elizabeth asks, what happens when you can't seem to take a deep breath? Well, you love even that. You accept even that. The breath that you can take is the perfect breath. So acceptance and being with what is really part of the practice. Whether you're on the cushion or you take your practice off the cushion, it is really a practice of accepting what is. When the mind is racing and we don't want it to, when the heart is racing and we don't want it to, when the breath isn't deep enough or as deep as we'd like. Does that answer your question, Elizabeth? Is that helpful? My breath seems to get deeper after a few minutes. Yes, of course, that's right. And what we find is that we tend to live with a very shallow breath. And what we find, what science finds, is that the breath leads the brain. So as your breaths deepen, your brain cycles slow, and you slow. So when you can take the time, Elizabeth, to allow the breath to get deeper, you will draw the mind deeper as well. Catherine asks, are there any guided recorded meditations that you would suggest? There are a lot of resources. Headspace, which I cited before, is a great app to download. It comes at a fee, a monthly fee. Insight Timer is an app as well, and it's free, easy to download. And there's lots of great meditations, even classes that you can pay for on Insight Timer. I would recommend that as well. So you have something in your pocket. There's a wonderful meditation on Insight Timer that I sometimes use if my mind is running and maybe I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't go back to sleep. And I put my earphones in and it talks me back to sleep. So it can be very useful. Some people use a mantra when they meditate. I don't tend to do it, but I know that it can be helpful for others. Meditation is a highly personal practice. And Susan asks that she was going to ask about a guided meditation as well, or is total silence better? You know, it's also very personal and you may feel that you need support. Learning how to meditate is simple, but it is not easy. Once you have a practice And once your brain and your body are used to the practice, you'll probably find that it gets easier over time. But to start, it's not easy. When I first started, and it's something that I have to this day, I had to set a place at the time in my apartment where I had my cushion, and it was there. It was visible to me. It was my corner, and it would call me to sit and practice. Today, I have a room in my house that is a meditation room, and I crawl up there. It happens to be on the very tippy top of the house on the 3rd floor. And I crawl up there at 5 o'clock in the morning just after I get out of bed. The mind, as you wake up and as you enter sleep and as you emerge from sleep, you're still in touch with the subconscious. So it's a wonderful time to meditate. And so even here, I've dedicated space just for it. Carol, I grind my teeth all day long. It stopped after this. I'm so glad. Oh. Great. Did I get everybody? Let me just scroll here. Oh, that's beautiful. As a person who finds it hard to meditate and likes to, I keep a small box full of tumbled crystals, rings, and a bottle of lavender to help me relax. As I play with these things, I feel my anxiety melt away and I'm able to breathe. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, everybody, for sharing. As I said, I'm going to read something brief. Jon Kabat-Zinn is such an interesting man. He's written this book, Wherever You Go, There You Are. And it's actually quite an old book. He wrote it many years ago. Today, he's a PhD. He is the founding director of the Stress Reduction Clinic and the Center for Mindfulness in Medicine, Healthcare, and Society at the University of Massachusetts Medical School, as well as professor of medicine emeritus. So he is a meditator. He studied Buddhism in the East and brought it to the States. And this book was one of the first books that he wrote, And I'm just going to read a short paragraph out of the chapter called Stopping. So he says, people think of meditation as some kind of a special activity, but this is not exactly correct. Meditation is simplicity itself. As a joke, we sometimes say, don't just do something, sit there. But meditation is not just about sitting either. It is about stopping and being present, and that is all. Mostly, we run around doing. Are you able to come to a stop in your life, even for one moment? Could it be this moment? What would happen if you did? A good way to stop all the doing is to shift into the being mode for a moment. Think of yourself as an eternal witness, as timeless. Just watch this moment without trying to change it at all. What is happening? What do you feel? What do you see? And what do you hear? The funny thing about stopping is that as soon as you do it, here you are. So with a few minutes that we have left, and because it's the end of the night, I'm going to take you through a body scan. that I hope will relax you into a state of early sleep tonight. So I encourage you to close your eyes. Now for this, you don't need to sit upright. If you're on a couch, if you're in a place that you want to lay down, you can lay down and you can sit back. Just be comfortable. That's most important. So settle into your comfortable position, whatever that is. Allow your shoulders to soften. Take a full breath in and a long breath out. And let's do that again at your own pace. A full breath in and make the exhale longer than the inhale if you can. Very good. So let's bring your attention to your body. Notice the weight of your body in your chair or on the floor or in the couch. Notice all the places where your body is coming into contact with the surface. As you breathe, notice how your chest and your abdomen raise and lower. What sensations are you aware of? Bring your awareness to the stillness around you and to the stillness of your body in your still space. And notice the sense of relaxing even more deeply. Bring your attention to your face and notice your jaw. Are you holding tension in your jaw? Feel that and let it go. Turn your attention to your eyes. Release your squinting. Relax the muscles all around your eyes. Let your face be soft. And breathe in and breathe out. Now notice the muscles at the back of your throat. Between the base of your tongue and the back of your throat. And allow your tongue to drop in your mouth and your throat to relax. Relax the muscles in your neck and in your shoulders. And feel the sensation of tension leaving your shoulders. Move down your upper arms, your elbows, your forearms, your wrists, the back of your hand. Feel the palm of your hand. Feel your fingers. And let your arm go to rest. Feel the fabric of your clothing against your skin. And the sensation all around your body. Now bring your attention to your belly. Notice if your belly is tight, if your stomach is holding. Allow for a soft, round belly. Very good. Now travel down your legs. Are you holding in your thighs or in your buttocks? Relax. Feel the sensation in your knees. Down your legs. Your ankles. And bring your attention to your feet. Can you feel the sensation at the base of your feet? And let your legs fall asleep. Continue breathing in and breathing out at your own pace. Notice your whole body from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. And stay with the sensation of your whole body as one. Now can you feel the space between your body and the walls of the room? In space. And can you sense the energy of that space? And can you stay in the energy of that space for a few more breaths? Very good. And now, if you'd like to put your left hand on your heart, I'm going to say some loving kindness phrases, and you can repeat after me silently to yourself. May I be safe and protected. May my mind be happy. May my body be happy. May I live a life of ease. May I be safe and protected. May my mind be happy. May my body be happy. May I live a life of ease. Well, thank you, everyone. It was just beautiful to be with you. I hope you use this opportunity and don't go back to the television set and try to ease into a night of rest instead.
Thank you, Claudia. It was wonderful.
You're so welcome, Carolyn. My
This
pleasure.
program, as most of our Zoom programs, has been recorded, but you should know that the only person that anybody will see on the screen is Claudia. And we appreciate very much for you doing this for us. Thank you.
Total pleasure. Have a good evening. Thank you, everyone. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.